Hey, folks, it's Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, and I am really excited today because I'm able to have Eric Turner, the #1 rock star over at WakeUpNow, on the line with us so that we can do a little chat. Eric, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Can't complain. How you doing?
You know what? We are rocking, and when Jason called and said, dude, you got to listen to this story, and he started sharing about your success and what your team's been doing, you know, I was excited to be able to get you on the call because it's just not every day that a person can come into a company and kick butt like you have. And I want you just to share a little bit about your background, you know, a little bit about where you come from and how long you've been in the profession of network marketing.
Definitely. Well, first off, I want to thank you for taking the time and talking to me. It's not something I really set out to do as far as the recognition and everything, but, you know, I'm not going to lie, it definitely feels good when that's there. But I actually got started in the industry back in 2009, like the fall of 2009, when I moved down to San Diego. A buddy I met when I got down here, he actually introduced me to the industry. You know, went to a little hotel meeting, you know, the typical type of thing that you probably first get exposed to. So got involved. Right off the bat, I saw what the industry as a whole could provide. I wasn't really one of those people that got in and was skeptical at first, which might kind of seem odd to some people, but I actually really liked what I saw to begin with, and I kind of started, you know, toying in my head with how I could provide for not only myself, but, you know, my family potentially and stuff. So got involved, but like a lot of people, didn't have any success right off the bat. But I'm a very analytical type of person, so numbers are always my game. And so when I was trying to break down the numbers in this first specific company, I started to realize that, you know, it wasn't all peaches and cream like they make it seem. So over the next few years, I toyed around with a few different companies, you know, some that I really enjoyed the product, others that I, you know, really liked the comp plan, but I was never able to find the success I was looking for. I think a little bit just on my part, you know, being new, but also just maybe the opportunity wasn't for me. And then the summer of 2012 is when I finally started seeing some success, and just from there it kind of took off. And then, you know, a year ago when I got into WakeUpNow, that's ultimately when it really jump-started, I guess, my career.
What do you think was different? I mean, as a numbers guy, what do you see that's different with WakeUpNow versus some of the practice companies that you were with up till now?
Well, the thing that I was always told in the industry was the residual income, how you can, you know, create this income that you work hard to establish, and, you know, eventually you can kind of pull back on the reins and coast into the future, and you have this residual income that keeps paying you month after month. So that was something I always looked towards. But what I think the difference was, my earlier career to now, was the companies that I was with, they weren't all residual based. There's a lot of upfront money, there's a lot of startup fees and stuff, and I wasn't a fan of these one-time bonuses. And so when I saw WakeUpNow and I saw how the comp plan was completely reversed, where most of the money was up front, I guess what you call the lower ranks, the average people, more of the money was there, and it was all residual based. So you didn't have to go out and create a huge organization to see what I feel like is some life-changing income, which, you know, $500, $600, $700 a month. Because, again, this industry is supposed to be, what it's supposed to start out as is some extra income. You know, you're not supposed to go into this and month one replace your current income and be able to retire off of it. So knowing that it had some good early residual income for the average person with, you know, only a small amount of volume that you have to achieve to get that, that was something that I was really sold on. Because, you know, the high ranks and the top income earners and everything, I mean, that, you know, that's not always going to happen. But if the majority of the people can see some significant income that makes a difference in their lives, I know that that's going to propel this, you know, opportunity in my team and everything into the future in the long run, because no one's going to leave if they're seeing some early success.
No, I would agree with you 100% on that, and I think it is sometimes the toughest part about network marketing is that some people get in and they have that success. You know, maybe they can go out there and they've got a good sphere of influence, but there's no residual income for the average person. And then at other times there's some great maybe residual income, but there's really not a product. that can be
Exactly.
sold. And when I look at WakeUpNow, I mean, they definitely are a diverse company. And let me ask you, because I hear sometimes excuses from people, not just when they're looking at WakeUpNow, but when they look at network marketing as a whole, and they'll say, well, this company is too diversified. They have too many services, too many products. How do you go about marketing WakeUpNow to have the success that you've had?
Well, the cool thing about what WakeUpNow offers is, like you said, we don't have just one specific product or maybe even two that are similar. So it's nice to know that if I go out and I market the products and services to people, they can look at everything we have and figure out what they like or what they would want to try out. They don't have to be stuck on one specific product. So for me, some of the companies that I was with, I enjoyed the product, but at the same time, you limit your ability to go market to people because maybe, there's a handful of people that don't like that specific product. So I actually like having a variety of products available because if I meet someone and they're not interested in maybe say the energy drink line that we have, but they're an avid coffee drinker, well, I know that we have something that they can plug into. And as far as the opportunity goes, the comp plan is the same no matter what product or service that you're to purchase. So it's not like we have 10 different products and 10 different comp plans. It's like, no, we have one comp plan and every product plugs into that, and it just makes it easy for people to understand and be able to relate to.
No, that makes good sense to me. What is it that first drew you to WakeUpNow?
Well, over the years, obviously a lot of failures. I always wanted to understand the industry, and I always wanted to, be able to study it, and not just the opportunity that I'm in, but other companies, just to be educated on the industry. So, if I meet someone and we can have a discussion, I'm not just, a one-trick pony and only know everything about my company and nothing about the industry. So over the years, I really started doing my research, and, after 1, 2, 3 years, I kind of started putting the pieces together and realizing that it was more about, one specific thing with the company. So, like I said, I was in an opportunity that maybe had a great comp plan, but a lackluster product, or a great product, but a not-so-good comp plan. So when I got introduced to WakeUpNow, it was actually, a friend of mine now, he asked me if, for my opinion on this opportunity, and what it was the comp plan, and that's what initially attracted me to the opportunity was, okay, cool, it has a residual-based comp plan, and it seems practical for the average person, whether they get started right away or, a few months down the line, they still see that the finish line is in reach. I knew that it was more than just the comp plan, so I started looking into the products that they had, and again, I saw what they had, and I saw how they could benefit people financially regardless of if they earn commissions through the opportunity. So that was another check for me. But more importantly, and I think one thing that I never realized early on in my career was the management of the company. And I think a lot of times people don't really look into that, and they just take it for granted, thinking, okay, these people know what they're doing, because obviously, they have to be, right? They're starting a company. So when I looked into the CEO, Kirby Cochran, the president, Jason Elrod, and then the CEO, Phil Polich, and I looked at their background, and I realized that they were not network marketing guys at all. Never had any prior history to it, never ran a company. They were real-world business, the stock market, the real estate. And so it made me comfortable knowing here's some people that are coming in to run a company that they don't know how the industry works, which I feel like is a good thing because they don't know about all the garbage and the potential, I guess, the bad, I don't know if you want to call it bad blood in the industry. And so it was refreshing to know that here's people that can come in, bring their real-world business sense into this opportunity and, provide a realistic opportunity and not necessarily care about, the top people in the industry and trying to give them some benefits and stuff. They wanted to really change how the industry was viewed and get that stigma of it being only a few, small percentage of people succeeding. And so when I was able to finally sit down and talk to Jason when we met in L.A. a year ago, I think it was in April-ish, March or April, and really was able to get their vision, it just, it solidified it for me knowing that, we have some serious potential here of what we can do and how we can change this industry.
Well, I definitely agree with you on that one. The more I've gotten to get to know these guys and understand where they're coming from, the more I've realized this isn't a short-term vision that these guys have. This really is an industry change type of company. It's a company where these guys realize, you know, there's more than just being the next $100 million company or the next $1 billion company. I've coined the phrase, they really do want to become that iconic brand. They want to be able to change so many people's lives at the end user level by presenting quality products, but also at creating a boatload of successful independent professionals like yourself that's out here doing something. And I think that's important, but that also raises the question, and this might be a little bit of a controversial question, but it's one that I know from talking to other network marketing pros. You know, there's certain times when a company will come around and they'll court you and they'll cut a deal and they give you all this stuff. You know, were you given any kind of a deal with WakeUpNow, or did you just go out there and start building something from scratch and build this thing organically?
I built it from scratch, and I definitely had some people that, you know, have either come to me directly and said that, or kind of, you know, mumbled under their breath that there was a deal, or I had some huge downline put under me and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I wasn't even on the radar in the industry before WakeUpNow. I had a little bit of success in the previous company I was with. Nothing astronomical, nothing that, you know, shook the industry, nothing that, you know, had people from other companies coming at me left and right trying to get me involved. The opportunity actually fell into my lap from someone who found me on Facebook that I had not had any previous conversations with. This particular person, he had very little success in the industry as well. And like I said, he just showed me a video and asked me what I thought. It wasn't even pitching me the opportunity, just asked what I thought. You know, like I said, I liked what I saw, and I got involved, and I got with my business partner. We talked about it, and we said, you know, this is something that I feel like we could actually, you know, make some noise in the industry if we do it right. And so when I finally got to talk to Jason and Kirby, it was a couple months into me already getting involved. There was no deal put in place. I had no huge organization that I brought over. I had no lineage placed under me, nothing like that. I went out, built it from scratch, built it from the relationships I have established over the years in the industry. You know, like what you want to do is you go out and you find some people that are just like you, and they duplicate, and the months went on and the production kept going and the company kept getting better. I think people started realizing the potential that we had here, and so it just kind of jump-started and took off. But there was no handouts at all from the company. You know, they've told myself and other people plenty of times that, you know, if you have big leaders that want to get involved, that's great, but we're not going to pay them. We're not going to give them any extra advantage that we, you know, wouldn't to the little guy. So knowing that it was a fair playing field all across the board was a great thing for me.
Yeah, I got to totally agree with you on that one. How large is your organization now at WakeUpNow?
I believe, I don't know the exact number, but at the end of last month, it's a little over 11,000 people. So closing in on 12,000 people total, I believe.
And that's in a year's time, right?
Correct.
A little over a year. What rank? You just achieved the top rank. What's the top rank in the company now?
Top rank is global executive.
Okay. All right. And that's got to make you feel good. There's only one number one, right?
Exactly. I mean, being first to last, right?
Yeah. You can't go wrong there. You know, that's the
No, not at all.
About it. And I think it's good because, you know, when you can start going up the ranks like that, it starts to really, I think, show other people this is achievable. And sometimes that's what people, maybe it's just subliminal, but they wait until they see something, and all of a sudden they say, okay, if Eric can do that, I know I can do that, and they really start rallying for themselves, you know, to grow. How many leaders are you watching now that are starting to really push forward and start to make the rank advancements?
There's dozens of them, and I got a handful on my team, and I see in other organizations in the company as well. I mean, it seemed like I was closing in on hitting global executive, and, you know, like you said, that's kind of the pinnacle of the company right now. Once that was achieved, it kind of sent a shockwave through the entire company, and making people realize, holy crap, like it's achievable and within a year, and not saying that, everyone's going to be able to do it within a year, but just the fact that it was reached, not only for our company, standards, but the industry as a whole, having that six-figure a month earner is that, kind of, like I said, that pinnacle in the industry. So once that happened, even before that, everyone was putting in work and getting excited and staying motivated. But, like everything, it's like once someone reaches that rank, and especially when it's someone that you've had a relationship with and you see them achieve it, I guess it inspires people a lot more to know that it's possible, and it just, gets their head down and running even harder than they were before.
I agree with you on that. Now, I'm going to ask a question, because you are young. You're 25 years old. You're making just an ungodly amount of money, no matter what age a person is, but definitely at the age of 25. What type of precautions are you taking as an individual to make sure that you're not just blowing through the cash with all the toys and the goodies? Is there something that WakeUpNow offers to kind of guide you guys, or have you gone out and found some consultants to help you make sure you're doing this right?
Well, it's actually kind of funny, because I'm known, I'm a frugal person, and everyone knows, and they joke about it. I don't spend money. I've never really have, even when I had a little bit of money early on, as I didn't have money. I've never been one to go out and spend a bunch of money. Don't even currently have a car, which is kind of funny. But WakeUpNow, what WakeUpNow has put into place is when you hit specific rank, they give you access to, CPA. So you can sit down, talk to them, kind of put a game plan together, figure out how you want to go about managing your finances and stuff. And so the fact that the company is willing to pay for a session to sit down and talk to a professional to get an idea of where you want to go and how you want to manage your money, that means a lot, because that tells me that not only are they looking out for, themselves as trying to build this company, but they actually want to help their distributors in not only getting money, but now being able to keep it and manage it. So I definitely took advantage of that, sat down with the CPA, put a game plan together, and so from then till now, it's constantly, in talks, trying to figure out how to protect and benefit myself in the long run, especially now as the ranks I've hit, you're in a completely different tax bracket and everything. So it's nice to know that the company has my back. Not only are they paying me good money, but they're actually offering services that, I can plug into and help protect myself for the long run.
Man, that is awesome, because I wish more and more companies would do that, because it is tough. You have these dreams, you hit these objectives, you start making good money, and so many times, not just in network marketing, we see it across the board, even in professional sports, all of a sudden, these kids just don't know what to do, and I'm so glad to see a company doing that. I got another controversial question, and it's just because I see this all the time in network marketing as a whole, but I've seen some online battles between some of the WakeUpNow reps and other reps, and every now and then I'll come across something where somebody will say, well, WakeUpNow is a scam because they don't have, their own products. Now, nowadays you guys do. You've got Thunder and you've got the coffee and all that, but early on when you guys were building, you have some phenomenal services that you guys offered. How did you combat or help your team understand that WakeUpNow wasn't a scam, that they were a very unique type of business?
Well, I think from early on, and I got in before we had a lot of the products we do now, we had the software membership package that has, a lot of the not necessarily the physical products, but we have a lot of the software products. I guess for my demographic, being younger and the crowd that I guess I attracted in the industry, the core products that we have, we want to make sure people are being able to save and manage their money. And so a lot of times money is sexy, but your finances and debt and all that is not. So it was trying to find a way to make what we had attractive to people and help them understand that there is some value, even if we don't necessarily have maybe this high glitz and glamour physical product. So there was always, people at first trying to sit there and talk about we're a scam, we don't have any value and all that. But I didn't really try to pay much attention to that, because the people that were involved with me and the culture that we were trying to establish, I wanted to have people that saw value in what we had, didn't necessarily care about, what the outside thought, because, every time you're a company that's coming up and you have some momentum, people are definitely going to try to attack you. And so it comes with the territory, but at the same time, we established such a good culture. And even though we know culture doesn't pay the bills and it's not always what it's about, knowing that we could take our culture of, at least from my perspective, the young demographic, get them to understand the value of money more than just what you make, but actually being able to protect that and then being able to share that with others. And at the same time, plugging in and taking advantage of some of the other products we have. So I mean, the scam, even now, people still, want to sit there and talk about that. And I know it'll never end. It's just part of the industry we're in, even though trying to do what I can to help people get away from that mindset. But, from early on, we established how we wanted to go about, building this and kind of the message we wanted to send out there. And, I think we've done a good job over the past year of establishing that culture of people that we can have fun, but we can also have, make money as well.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Let's talk about culture for a minute. What makes your team unique maybe to any other team? Is there a special type of training or coaching, or how do you keep all this young demographic, but just how do you keep your whole team together to where you've grown as big as you have?
Well, majority of us started with online. Like I said earlier, when I got in this industry, I did the hotel, the offline meetings and all that type of stuff. And early on, it didn't click for me. It didn't work for me. And that's not saying that it doesn't work now or it didn't work then for others, but just for me personally, it didn't work. So after a year and a half, 2 years of trying that with no success, I said, okay, there's got to be another way. And obviously the other way is if it's not offline, it's online. So I got online. I started trying to figure out, ways to make this work for me. And so I set out and started building some relationships with people, came across some very good people over the years. What's crazy is, I guess a few years ago, people probably wouldn't think you could establish a good friendship or a good relationship online, but that's exactly what I've done and a lot of my leaders team have done. And we initiated a lot of our conversations and stuff online, but what we've done as we've grown as a company and grown as a team, we've started to take a lot of that online to the offline and, meeting up in different places, whether it be in Hawaii or Miami or these corporate events. And so we've been able to mix a lot of the online with the offline. So now when people initially said we were, one-sided, all they're doing is building it online, it's not going to last. But what they didn't realize is, yes, maybe the relationships started online and they're initiated through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it may be. We actually evolve those relationships and take them offline to where it now creates even an even stronger camaraderie and a stronger culture to where now people see that, okay, here they are online, but they're actually getting together offline, and it's building a really nice, tight one family. And I think that's what's helped drive our success is the fact that we aren't one-sided. We can plug into a bunch of different marketing methods, and if someone is more comfortable with one way over the other, it doesn't matter because there's still enough variety in the organization, in their teams, that everyone can kind of feed off of each other.
That makes good sense, and I've seen that as I've kind of watched what's going on out there. You guys really do not only support each other, but I've even watched where you guys have what I would call mentored. When you've seen one of the team doing something that might be immature-ish or something like that, you guys really have kicked butt and brought them in line, and I think that's something you guys need to be commended for as leaders because it's a pretty cool thing. How do people get a hold of you, Eric? If they want to, they're listening to this. We've got it up on the blogs and stuff. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, my main source of communication is Facebook. It's funny too because when I decided to go the route of online, I created a new Facebook page aside from my Eric Turner Facebook page, I guess. At the time, I thought, okay, I'll get a little clever with it. I'll kind of create a new persona, something that people don't know necessarily my history, so what they see from day one is what I give them. I created a Facebook profile, and I chose the name Seemore Green, and it wasn't really anything that I thought would evolve into what it is today. It was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. So people can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Seemore Green, and then the number 3, and it's spelled just how it sounds, SEEMORE Green, and the number 3. And like I tell everyone, that's obviously with the Facebook limitations, my friends list is maxed out, but, you know, my profile is public. People can follow me. They don't hesitate to message me. You know, I definitely get back to everyone who messages me. That's definitely a big thing that I pride myself on, is I don't necessarily do the phone calls as much, but, you know, I definitely make a point to getting back to everyone who hits me up on Facebook. You know, I want to keep building those relationships in the long run. I don't want to just, you know, think I made it and I'm good to go for the rest of my life. Like, I know, you know, relationships never stop being built, and I know there's always people watching, and so I never want, you know, to give people a reason to think that, okay, you know, here he is in some grand position, he's too, you know, big for me or too cool for me or something. I always love, you know, when people reach out to me, and especially people that I've never met before. It definitely makes me feel good, and it's nice to know that I've been able to reach out and motivate a number of people out there, and when they come in and message me and stuff and tell me that, definitely, it's a good feeling.
Well, it's definitely a good feeling, and you mentioned something earlier about building those online relationships, and I've got a friend of mine. I stopped building my last organization in 2009, and this buddy of mine had been with me since 2001. We had never met, period, and to this day have never met, but we've watched our kids go through school. If we've had our own problems, we've called each other on the phone, and we met via the internet, and he's now a leader over in WakeUpNow, and I've watched his success. So I think definitely in the 21st century you can build some solid relationships starting out online and eventually meeting in person. So I got to commend you in what you've been able to do and what you've built there at WakeUpNow and the culture you've created.
I mean, if they have created online dating websites to build relationships and marriages, I'm pretty sure people can handle some friendships. And that was always my mindset was, you know, it wasn't like we're coming online and we're trying to get, you know everything about you. It was just a simple gesture, just like you would meet someone in the street. Small talk turns into, you know, big talk, and you never know what can come out of it. So, like, it's always important to establish those connections, because you never know what it's going to allow you to create in the future.
Man, that is so true. Well, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been awesome. Folks, you've been listening to another one of our fireside chats, except that today we're doing it from a distance. That's the fun thing here. So